today. Alisson gets the nod in goal. Diego Carlos plays alongside Marquinhos in central defence. And it's two strikers up front who will look to provide the goal-scoring threat. Can they forge ahead? They do! And you've got to say they're good value for the lead.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex the Kid here with another FIFA 21 YouTube video here on my channel. I want to thank you guys for clicking on my video. Sorry I wasn't able to post last week as I was a bit busy during the week. I had work and I had certain things that I had to get done during the week. But this week we're back. This is the second week of our FUT Champions gameplay that we're about to show here. We did manage to get Gold 1. This weekend league. Last weekend league we actually struggled a lot, to be honest. I mean, it is a new game. It was the first weekend league last week, and you know, we weren't as sharp in the beginning. You know, we were able to pull off a gold 2 finish last week, but this week we went ahead and we did get gold 1. But as you guys can see here, we started off really slow. You know, we're already down 2-0 to this guy. Now we go down 3-0, and you know, he's just dominating us. And one of the things that I will say, one of the tips I can give you guys, which I should have followed, was that I should have warmed up before I played my first game. You know, unfortunately, I didn't have the time to warm up because I did want to get the footage for you guys, and I just wanted to get my FUT Champs games over with. So I did not warm up. So as you guys can see, evidently here, it ended up biting me in the butt because we lost 6-1 to this guy. So, you know, we barely had one warm-up game here. We played another game here in which we're going to go ahead and lose again because we're just cold. I mean, you guys could just see by my defending. I'm really cold in this game. I like I said, I didn't warm up. I had one warm-up game, and you know, if you really want to get it better and get better finishes in FUT Champs, it's really important to take the time to do the little things. For example, you know, getting ready, playing a couple warm-up games in division rivals before you jump into FUT Champions. You know, if you don't want to jump into division rivals, you can always jump into squad battles. Play a couple squad battles games there against the computer just to kind of get your fingers warmed up on the sticks. You know, unfortunately I didn't do that, and this is why we actually end up losing our first 2 games, and we get pretty much slaughtered. You know, so you know, definitely don't do that. Follow my own advice and make sure you warm up before you start. But finally, after the second game, I decided to make some changes. I noticed that my defense is a bit too slow, and I switched my center backs for full backs. I ended up getting Wan-Bissaka because I noticed that Neil Guides, who's a YouTuber that I follow, he recommended using full backs if you don't have the money to buy the meta center backs at the moment. He recommended to use He recommended to use right backs and left backs as your center backs because they're really quick and agile. And fortunately, you know, Wan-Bissaka is really fast, so I was able to use him, and he was great. But you know, as you guys can tell in this game, I'm already warmed up. You know, my offense is finally clicking. I will say that my defense was definitely clicking as well. I felt a lot better with these fast right backs and left backs as my center backs. You know, I mean, another advantage of having right backs and left backs as your center backs is that you know, you could have your defensive line higher. You know, before when I had our slow center backs in Ake and I had Rudiger before, they were too slow. You know, they were too slow, so I was too afraid. So I would have my line all the way in the back, and people were able to pass the ball around in the box over me. So, you know, I decided to go ahead and go with those right backs as my center back, and I was able to hold a higher line now. I was able to defend a lot better. People weren't able to pass around the box as easy around me as before. So it was great. The team felt great. You guys can tell here we're already winning 4-1 in this game. Renato Sanchez scoring a great goal like always. Dembele doing his thing like always. And you know, one of the things I could recommend if you guys are looking for a great cheap striker, if you're using the 4-2-3-1, I mean, you should give Dembele a try, man. He's amazing. Dembele is such a beast. He has 5-star. You know, those 5-star skill moves if you know how to do the The Elastico comes in really handy this year, even though it is going to get patched. I did hear it's going to get patched in a couple weeks, or this week it's going to get patched. So it's still going to be a viable option. La Croqueta is also really, really good, but Elasticos, you're just able to, come off of it really fast. And one of the things that I have noticed this year with this game, as we get this win here, we win 5-1 in our third game. One of the things that I have noticed this year is that skill moves are going to be really, really important to get by your opponent's defense. The reason why they're so important is because when you come off of a skill move, the skill move for some reason always seems to give you a skill boost. It seems to give you a speed boost, whether if it's, a La Croqueta, or whether if it's an Elastico, or if you do a fake shot, you always seem to come out a little bit faster from it. So one of the things I could recommend is for you guys to start practicing your skill moves, go to the training ground and just start practicing your skill moves, And as you guys can see here, we score a great goal with Ben Yedder, and he's another guy that I definitely recommend if you guys are on a budget. I think now at this stage of the game, anybody can afford Ben Yedder. I believe he's around like 60,000 coins, 70,000 coins now, so anybody can afford him. He's another 5-star weak foot guy, and although in this FIFA weak foots are not as important as other FIFAs in my opinion, I still believe that your two strikers, or your cam and your lone striker, if you are playing the 4-2-3-1, should have 5-star weak foots, because you just have more of a variety in your attack. As we go ahead and we win our second game here, you just go ahead and you just have a better variety in your attack. You're less predictable. People are not going to know what you're going to do. Like, for example, I have Gabriel Jesus, but I put him on the wings, even though he's a striker, because he only has a 3-star weak foot. If I put him as my lone striker, more often than not, my opponent's going to know that I'm going to want to cut into my right foot and shoot with my right foot, no matter what. Obviously, I will cut and sometimes try to shoot with my left, but more often than not, I'm not going to trust Gabriel Jesus 3-star weak foot. I'm going to want to cut or do a drag back or do something to get me onto that right foot, and, elite level opponents are going to know that you're going to do that, so they'll be there and they'll defend it well. So I do definitely recommend that. Make sure your two strikers, your cam or your striker, if you're playing the 4-2-3-1, have a 5-star weak foot. That's one of my other tips that I could give you. Another tip that I can give as well to get better finishes is also making sure you stay hydrated. It seems quite funny, but it's actually really true. If you're thirsty and you're not drinking water while you're playing your games, you're not really feeding your brain, if that makes any sense, because foot champs, and as you all know, FIFA, it takes a lot of concentration. 1 second you look away and your opponent's through on goal. So if you're hydrated, you're getting the proper oxygen into your brain, you're just more aware and you just play better, and all the pros do it too. You always see them taking a drink of water, always making sure they're hydrated. So that's definitely one of the tips that I can give you guys, and I have tested out myself, and I do seem to be playing better when I am drinking water in between my games. So that's one tip that you could try it out for yourself, see if it works. For me, it works. So that's one of the things that I can do. And as you guys could tell here, we're just moving along. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the footage of this game. We do end up winning in penalties. We won 3-1. And this was the last penalty that I took with Ben Yedder, in which we won the game. So we went ahead and we won. I believe this is our third game. Yeah, this is our third game. And so, we're 3-2. And like I said before, this is why it's important to warm up, because, I ended up in a hole in the beginning. 0-2, which was completely unnecessary. If I would have warmed up, more often than not, I would have won those two games, or at least won one of them. And instead of being 3-2, I could have been 5-0. I could have been 4-1. You know what I mean? So just make sure you warm up. It's really, really important to make sure you warm up. Unfortunately, if you don't have the time like me, then, it is what it is. And by the way, what a goal by Rashford here. I mean, you could just tell the guy's dribbling was great in this game, and he scored a great goal, and we go down 2-1. And here we're just attacking with Ben Yedder again. Those through balls are really overpowered. And talking about that, it is actually one of the things that I also did want to talk about in this video. Through balls in this game seem to be very overpowered. So make sure you're trying a lot of through balls. Sometimes what I've seen is people try to complicate a lot of things when it comes to attacking. They just want to find the perfect pass. They want to find the perfect cross or create the perfect shot angle. Sometimes when you're playing a very good opponent, you don't have the time to have the perfect pass, the perfect shot, the perfect cross. Sometimes you just have to be very direct, and sometimes a simple 1-2 through ball can get you on goal and score you a goal, and get you in the lead. So, make sure you also try that as well. Try to be direct also sometimes with your attacks. Like, for example, here, all I did was a simple RB cross, and then Ben Yedder puts it in, and scores the goal. So, I didn't do anything fancy. All I did was a simple cross. I saw Ben Yedder, and then I shot it, and it went in, and now we have the lead. We're 5-3. Same thing here. I went ahead and I sorted the goal. I didn't complicate it. I didn't try to take on the keeper. I just went ahead and I passed it to Icone, who was wide open, and, he scored. So, sometimes, that's another tip that I can give you guys, is just take that into account, And, like, all my tips that I give here, guys, like I said, I'm not a pro player. I'm not like this amazing FIFA guru or anything. I'm just putting out my videos to kind of show you guys what works for me. And hopefully if it works for me, maybe you try it in your game. And if it works for you, awesome. And if it doesn't, then no problem, man. But I'm sure that there are some Silver 1 guys out there. There's maybe some Bronze guys out there that don't play the game as much as I do. That I might be able to help. Maybe you're stuck at gold 3 and you want to know how to get to gold 2, gold 1, elite 3, like other FIFAs previously, I've been an elite 3 player, but for elite 3, elite 2, I've got an elite 1 as well, but I am struggling, with this FIFA, which is normal because the game just barely came out. This is barely the second weekend league game. I'm sorry, the second set of weekend league games, so try not to stress out. If you've gotten some bad finishes these last 2 weeks, don't stress out about it, man. It's barely been 2 weekends leagues. I'm sure now that you played the 60 games, if you were able to play the 16 games, now you have more knowledge in the game of things that work, like cross shot goals, for example, the through balls, they work a lot. Another thing that I've realized that works well in this FIFA is, skill moves. If you do skill moves and you're a good skiller, this FIFA's for you. You're able to chain a couple skill moves and get that little speed burst and things like that, Another one of the tips that I can also say that really helped me out this week, especially later on in our games. I noticed that I was sprinting with the ball a lot. And this is a thing that I've noticed a lot of Silver 1, a lot of Bronze players do. Even Gold 3 players, they seem to sprint a lot. They just want to be so direct and be so fast and use the speed. And unfortunately, there has been some FIFAs in which you can do that. But unfortunately, this FIFA, you can't really do that as much. So you really need to measure how much you sprint. As we go ahead and we get our 5th win here, you really need to measure how much you sprint. Even when defending as well, too. If you notice that you're like over jockeying, like if you're jockeying and you seem to be over reading your guy, maybe it's because you're using the sprint button a little bit too much with your jockey button, left trigger, right trigger. Maybe you're using your right trigger a little too much, so try to kind of dial that down and you'll definitely see the difference. Another thing that I would say it really has helped me to elevate my game to at least like a gold 1 elite 3 player has been to make sure I'm patient in attack. And I have to do that more consistently. I find myself that I haven't been as consistent as I should be when it comes to the attack. I'm not as patient as what I should be, So that's one of the things that I can definitely say for you guys to do as well. Try to be patient in your attack. Build up the play. Don't try to be so direct. You do want to be direct, but you don't want to be direct all the time when all you do is be direct. It'll be way too easy for your opponent to read you. So as we get our 6th win here, we jumped into the next game, and we're halfway through our our games here, and we're starting to kind of get a little bit of momentum. We're doing a little bit better. As you guys can see there, that cross shot goal by Ben Yedder. I mean, just try it out. I know with FIFA 20 you guys got used to shooting to the first post, but in this FIFA, guys, you guys got to shoot to the second post. You are able to shoot to the first post as well in this FIFA, but you just got to make sure that you have an angle right here, like that Dembele angle. I did notice that he moved his keeper a little bit on that one, so that's why I shot it first post. So just try to take your time and don't sprint especially when you're in the box. That's one of the things that I've noticed. So I'm really looking forward to the next weekend league, because I feel that now that I played these 30 games, I'm more experienced in this game now. I've kind of seen the things that have worked and the things that don't work. Going through this gameplay while I'm getting this video out for you guys, I was able to see some of the mistakes that I made in my game, especially defensively, because, man, I suck at defending, guys. I think this is my defending is really the reason why I am not like an elite one, a top 100 player, like consistently, because I've played against pro players, I've played against elite level top 100 players, and as you guys, for example, look at this, man. Like, my defending is horrible here. You see, I had a big gap in my defense, and all he had to do was a little lob through ball. He got in, and Ben Yedder scored. So this is what I mean. Like, my defending, if I were able to defend more consistently and more patiently, and on a consistent basis, I really do believe I can be a top 100 player, pro player. I really do feel like I could do that if I could just be a little bit better on defense. So I'm definitely going to be working on that for you guys, because I do want to get better finishes. I do want to get the content up in this channel, and just get good content for you guys, get good finishes all the time. In this video, I'm only going to show you guys like my first 15 games of the weekend league. I hope you guys enjoy these first 15 games. I know they're not the best highlights. I'm not like a Tex or anything like that, but I try my best. And like I said, if you are a gold 1, if you are like a gold 3, gold 2, even like a silver player, I'm sure watching my gameplay, maybe some of the things that I've talked about in this video might help you. But pretty much as a summary, I just want to summarize that in order to get better finishes in the weekend league, from what I've noticed, is number one is just warm up. Before you start your weekend league games, it's very, very important to warm up. Play at least 2 games to warm up. If you can only do one, only do one. But at least you'll be a little bit more warmed up on the sticks, and you won't get clapped the way I got clapped by 6 goals, in my first game. So, so just make sure you warm up. That's very essential. Number 2, that's very important, is be patient. Don't try to be so vertical. Don't try to be just attack. Take your time building up the play. Take your time finding the perfect pass. Take your time when you're defending as well. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by taking your time when you're defending, what I mean is, like, as soon as you see your opponent have the ball on the top of the box, don't just panic and charge at him. One of the things that I have noticed a lot of the pro players say is, don't try to anticipate your opponent. What you should try to do, especially in the box or on the edge of the box, is react to what he does. If he goes left, then you go left. If he goes right, then you go right. So react more to what your opponent is doing, instead of just guessing that your opponent's going to do a certain thing. Because, I've definitely gotten caught doing that, where I thought maybe my opponent was going to do an elastico in a certain angle because I would do an elastico, and then it turns up that he's not as good as I think he is, and he doesn't do an elastico. He ends up doing something else. But since I overread that, he went the other direction, and I was already expecting an elastico, and he ended up going the other way, and I got scored on. So don't think that everybody is this amazing, great player. Just react to what they do, and trust me, you'll have more success. And when you're defending as well, especially in the box, try not to sprint as much. I've noticed that works a lot. I'm not saying don't sprint. Use the sprint button as well as your jockey button, but don't use it as much. So that's one of the things that I can definitely recommend in this FIFA. And and third, if most importantly, if you go down in the beginning of the game, take a look at the time. If you still have 60 minutes left, if you still have 70 minutes left, don't panic. Just know you just barely started. You still have a lot of time to score goals, and it's a video game, guys. You can literally get to the other side of the pitch in less than a second. You know, like for example, in this game here, I mean, I'm losing 5-4 already, you know, and I'm in extra time. But as you guys can see, it's the 116th minute, and I have a chance to score a goal here. And another thing that I wanted to touch upon here, like for example, this goal with Eric Cantona here. He was a free loan player that I received. So right now that it's early, if you guys still have those free loan players, make sure you guys use them, because for example, if I didn't score that goal with Eric Cantona there in the 120th minute, I would have never been able to get to this penalty shootout. You know, thanks to his goal, I got to this shootout, and you know, little spoiler alert here, I did go ahead and win this penalty shootout here. But thanks to his goal and that substitution and that one contract loan that I had for him, I was able to get to a penalty shootout, and I went ahead and I won this game because of that. If I would have not put him in, you know, if I would have put in, for example, like a Lozano, or if I would have put like a Rashford or something, maybe those goals don't go in. You know, a Cantona will definitely score that because he's an icon. You know, in the 120th minute, icons tend to not miss those open opportunities. So make sure you guys go ahead and you use your loan players. You know, that's kind of like the last point that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm gonna go ahead and also give you guys on the next video my next 15 games. After this game here, this is actually our last game here. I went ahead and I switched my kits, so I am the guy in the white kit. You know, but in this video, these are the points that I just wanted to talk about in my first 15 games. You guys will see my last 15 games how I did. Like I said, I did end up getting gold 1 this week. This is just the first 15 games here. So like I said before, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. Hopefully you guys learned anything. Hopefully I was able to help you out. Hopefully I was able to talk about certain things that maybe can help you in your game. You know, whether if you are a silver 1 player or a bronze player, or even if you're a gold 3 player, and you just want to get better. And you know, if you are better than me in FIFA and you're an elite 2, elite 1 player, well, I just hope that you enjoyed the highlights, and hopefully I entertained you a little bit. But anyways, guys, I just want to thank you guys for clicking on the video. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I just want to thank you guys for clicking on the video, and you know, if it's in your heart to give me a like and a follow, I would really appreciate that. That's really going to help the channel, and that would really motivate me to get more content out there. I mean, I'm just trying to reach my dream of becoming a FIFA YouTuber, hopefully one day. You know, I've always looked up to big YouTubers like AA9 Skills, you know, Nepenthes, Castro, and even smaller YouTubers. You know, I've always looked up to them because, you know, it's not easy putting these videos together, and I've really grown to respect what they do. But anyways, guys, if you guys ended up making it to this part of the video, I just want to say thank you so much. Like I said again, please make sure you like, subscribe if it's in your heart, and I'll go ahead and I'll see you guys on the next video. I'll probably have my other 15 games on the next video, and also probably some my Foot Champions rewards as well. So if you're interested in that, just go ahead and leave me a follow. Make sure you turn on your bell for the notification on my next video. But like always, guys, stay inspired, stay motivated. I am out.